Landscape. Mail. Actions. Remove. Uninstall. Lineup. Tap to activate.
When we often think of Samsung, we often think of the devices and tablets that they produce. But believe it or not, Samsung do actually produce apps that you can install, not just on your Samsung phone or tablet, but on other devices as well. As a result, or one of the apps that we're going to test is the Samsung Internet Beta app, which you can install on your Samsung phone or tablet, but on other devices as well. So that is what I'll be doing in this live stream. Okay, so just bear while I find the. Actually, no, let's do it. So after installation, it is called Internet Beta, other than Samsung Internet Beta, and most browsers, including beta versions such as the Chrome Beta or Opera Beta, will often have some sort of identification, but in this case it is just called Internet Beta. So that is that, but I'm not going to quibble too much. So it says get a fast, secure, and it's just basically giving you a tutorial on the app. You can set it as your default should you desire, but in this case we're not. Now it has opened the Google search straight away as opposed to opening its home page, and it would be nice if we could explore the home page as opposed to the Google search, because you might not want to type in your search term. You might want to look at the news, or you might want to look at the weather, or even check your social media updates. So it'd be nice if you had that option to make your choice whether you want to look at the news or actually do research. So that is, I'm gonna say that. So on the top right hand corner you got your tools, bookmarks, home, refresh, and the address bar, which already has www.google in it because it's on the website. You got secure, so that's probably telling you that your connection to this website is secure, which is a very good advantage. You got add to bookmarks, forward back, and that is basically it. Haven't really seen a new tab icon, which is a little bit of a setback. So I'm not too sure whether that will be accessed in the tools section. Let us have a look. So in the tools section we've got downloads, history, save pages, add page 2 rather, share, turn on secret mode, so that's probably like a private mode. So if you wanted to look for your recent browsing sessions in your history, it will probably leave no trace. So that's probably equivalent to an incognito tab, which you see on browsers. Incognito again leaves no trace in your browsing history as opposed to a new tab. Close all tabs. Dark mode, that probably is either the night mode or it probably sort of darkens up this screen. Now most browsers, which include the Opera browser and I think some Firefox browsers have those as well, they have the night mode, so that filters out certain colours which help promote the sleep producing melatonin hormone. The melatonin helps you go to sleep, and if you are exposed to those colours which the device is supposed to filter out, then it can hinder the production of the melatonin. So that's either what the dark mode does, or I'm not too sure. we're going to put it on, see what that does.
Tools. Downloads.
So
Tabs. Add-ons. Send arrow.
you got add-ons,
Sync map. Add-ons. Text size.
text size,
Desktop. Find on
you got desktop
Add blocker. Light mode.
desktop site.
Light mode. Button. Close. Light mode. Button.
Flight mode, I think it's got a flight mode option. I don't know why you would have that, considering that you would need the internet to actually browse, so I'm not too sure why that is, unless you can save articles offline
Save pages.
to read later.
Add page 2. Button. Close. Add page 2.
I think this is in a grid format as opposed to a list format, which can be a little bit of a trick to screen reader users because they may not be able to look down at the screen and see if it's a grid or not. But anyway, that is that. So the settings opens in its individual window as opposed to having a split screen view, and I don't really mind that. However, a split screen view sort of enables you to work in the flow order as opposed to retracing your steps.
Set Samsung Internet. Set Samsung Internet as default.
So it's got set Samsung Internet as default. Homepage.
Default search engine. Google.
Default search engine Google. So the search engine is fairly near at the top, which is a very good advantage given it's important. You got sync with Samsung account. Appearance.
Privacy. Sites and down. Privacy and security.
So in the advanced we've got privacy and security.
Sites and useful features. Sites and downloads.
Sites and downloads.
Other.
Useful features.
High contrast. About Samsung.
High contrast. And one thing that we haven't really seen is an accessibility section, although you do get the contrast in that. If they were accessibility options, they'll be listed under a accessibility heading or a window that when clicked on presented you a list of options to make your research accessible. So that is a little bit of a blunder that. Alright, let us try our keyboard shortcuts. Now, if you watch our browser videos, you'll often know that we try two keyboard shortcuts. We try the Alt plus D command, which takes you to the address bar, where you can type in your a website address or your search term should you desire. So when we've tried that, it doesn't really work. It says shortcut not supported. Then we tried the Control plus T command, and it is very interesting because, as you remember earlier, that we didn't see a new tab command. So obviously, rather than be using your current tab, you would want to create a new tab because that's a whole lot easier. And if you want to switch from one article to the other, you would need a tab per one. So let us try the Control plus T command, and that doesn't really look as though it worked as well, which is a little bit of a blunder. So let us have a look at the Airwonka K Scout, which is an aircraft, so just bear with me while I type that in. Hang on a bit. Now I am typing fairly slowly, but I'm noticing a little bit of a lag when it comes to the screen reader keeping up with what I'm typing. And normally I'm a fairly fast typer, but again, you know, if I was typing fairly slowly, then that's going to be a little bit of a hindrance for screen reader users who heavily rely on the screen reader when they are typing, so just be mindful about that. Another thing to be mindful of is if you use a Bluetooth keyboard, then it might not always tell you what you are focusing on should you use the tab key to scroll to an article that you desire. So that's going to be a little bit of a blunder. It just keeps saying press Alt plus Enter to activate. So that is a bit of a problem there. Also, the categories do seem to be duplicated, so you've got the images, shopping, but from a screen reader perspective it says it 2 times, meaning that they're duplicated, and again it just makes research a bit too long-winded. Okay, we've clicked on the Wikipedia section. I'm going to have to pause this video yet again because I'm not too sure why it's doing this, so I will resume in a bit. Okay, we are back now. It turns out that I had to use a combination of the Bluetooth keyboard and the touch screen to enable me to get to where we are now. So we're going to have a listen to see how the Google Talkback reads the articles, and then we'll move on to our next test.
C2 link Rinka C2 /C3 link Rinka C3.
It's reading articles fairly smoothly. For those of you who have watched our browser videos in the past and are wondering what has happened to those 2 voices, those are for 2 reasons. First of all, I managed to fix the problem, and if you want to know how, I've done it in a tutorial, so feel free to check that out. But also I have installed another text-to-speech engine, which is what this screen reader works with to produce the audio output that you hear, and as a result I have installed a voice to go with the engine as well. So those are the 2 reasons why you are not hearing those 2 annoying voices. In regard to the new tab icon, I was wondering whether that will become active when we are actually researching, because some browsers that have particular icons are like that. So I'm going to check on the context menu again. And it doesn't look as though it does. So if none of you know what the problem is, I would appreciate your comments. Now on to our second test. Now what we have been doing is we have been playing videos in browsers, because although some tablets do come with brilliant speakers, not all browsers use these speakers to their full potential, so as a result you'll be missing out on quality video playback. So we're going to look at a Sending the Dogs video and see how that plays. Okay.
Press out. Press out. Books.
Alright, just bear with me while I...
Send in the https:/June 15th 46 hours 8
Alright,
new
I think
tab.
we've
Send
found our videos.
100th anniversary of Bauhaus.
I think we found the video rather. Now it is taking a while to load, which is a bit surprising really, because most browser videos load straight away.
Google list box. Tap to active. Map.
Oh, it hardly loaded at all.
Press up. Press out. 46 hours 42.
Right, let's click on this one, and then if that doesn't work we'll have to conclude this video. Actually, this is an advert. I do apologise for this, but let us get the opportunity to test the sound.
Because I don't think you even took a look at that free training. So I want you to give this video one last listen.
Volume
and the reason why is because maybe I'll break it down in a better way for you to understand.
Now, one thing I have noticed is that the volume seems a little bit too quiet for my liking. I'm not too sure whether it's the advert or whether it's the browser.
Tonight, as the police in Manchester send in the dogs.
005 of
Eyes
40.
on the streets.
Minimize.
An eye on the floor.
I'm not too sure whether it's the browser or the video or not,
Nose for hot money.
but it is a little bit surprising, and I haven't really seen that before. So again, if you've experienced that problem, please feel free to comment on that. Now, one thing that I was pleased about is the volume wasn't set to mute by default, and that is a bit of a nasty habit that browsers do. But in this case, you know, if you load a YouTube video, you'll be guaranteed that it plays and the audio is unmuted. However, the sound, by the way, or despite the low volume, is pretty good,
Thieves have broken into a store.
and video playback is pretty smooth. So overall, video playback experience is
Find out more
pretty
about
good.
today's doodle. Home screen 2 of
Okay, in conclusion, the Samsung Internet Beta is quite easy to install. However, if you do decide to use it, there are a few things to take into account. First of all, unlike most browsers, it doesn't really have a home screen that when opened you can check your social media or check on the news or even the weather. Instead, it just brings up the Google search, and again, you might not want to do research straight away. You may want to click on the Facebook shortcut or the Twitter shortcut and check your social media posts that way. However, there are some homepage adjustments in the settings, but I hadn't really had a look on that, but that's something to be aware of. Also, the new tab icon, I hadn't really found where that is at the moment, so if you have, then feel free to comment. When playing videos, you may have to turn the volume up a little bit than usual, because the sound seemed a little bit low than what I was expecting. However, sound is pretty good, video playback is pretty good, so overall I would recommend it to sort of everyone, including screen reader users. Okay, well, I hope you have found this video helpful. Please subscribe, and I will see